Hi, this is Noel Rice from Falafel Software, and we're looking at Test Complete and some tips and tricks on how to map web pages in a flexible way that makes sense. See, from this page, we've got a couple of problems right away. I've got an Add Conference page and I've got an Edit Conference page that are basically the same thing. We've got name, address, city, state, same things here, but they have different paths. And so I want to take these different paths into account, and I don't want to map this twice. The other problem is in the path here, we've got a staging server that's going to change later. And so we need a way to soft code this so we can change it all in one place outside of the test and have it changed everywhere that it's used. And lastly, we've got this number here. This is going to change on us later because every new conference or every new record in this web page is going to have a different number. So with those things in mind, I'm going to bring up Test Complete, and it's a brand new project here. There's no name mapping in it yet. And we're just going to record a simple test. First, let's take a look at the tools options, name mapping. We're mapping object names automatically. That's the default setting, so that's good. And record a test. Doesn't matter if it's script or keyword, same difference. So I'm just going to click on the name in that field, and Test Complete will pick that up in the Edit Conference. We'll do the same thing for the Add Conference. Click on that and stop the test. Stop the recording. So now we've recorded this and we can see the name mapping that we got out of that. I'm not really going to use the recorded code. I just want to produce the name mapping automatically. So inside the name mapping, we have the page for the edit and the page for the add. We want to combine these two things, and we want to soft code the path. First thing we can do, the easy piece, is going to be just to make a wildcard for the two parts. Make this a little more flexible here. So I'm going to double click and bring up the edit name mapping item. And for the conference URL, I'm going to bring the ellipsis up. And where the 1822 is, I'm going to put a star in there. That's the wildcard. And so any number can happen there, and that'll be just fine. Don't need that. And really the only piece that I need is event board and conference. That's it right there. So anything that has event board, any characters, slash, conference, slash, star. So any number here, slash, and then ends in edit. All of those together will point to the edit page. So that's good. And then for the add, double click on that and do the same thing. Event board, any characters leading up to conference. In this case, we've got add at the end. We want to leave that. Okay, so we've soft coded those and taken care of the first couple of problems where we've got changing numbers and potentially changing paths. We'd have to come back in here if we change from the staging server to something else. We'd have to come in here and fix the path potentially if it changed beyond this, but that's fairly flexible. You can have pretty much any path leading up to that. There's another thing we can do to make it even more flexible, and that's to use project variables. So if we go to the project, I can add a variable here. Let's say this is the map page conference edit. And I'm just going to drop the same string that we created just a second ago. Will go in here. So now instead of having it inside the name mapping, we can have it all in one place here. It can be a little easier to find, particularly if you've got lots and lots of pages. Now out here, this is the edit page. I'm going to double click on that. And instead of having this coded in here at all, we'll go and hit the ellipsis, use the project variables, and map page conference edit. So now it's pointing to the project variable. This we get because it doesn't know what's in the project variable, but it's the same material that we had before. While we're at it, let's name this so we don't get confused. It'll be page conference edit. And we'll do the same for the add. And yes, we'll use this for all of the aliases that we create off of this. And page conference add. And we'll do the same operation, get the variable here. So we'll go to the object identification. This is the project node variables. We'll add in a new variable for the add. Page conference add. So now we've got those defined. Go back to name mapping, double click, and now we can go, that's the edit. Let me go back to the add, double click, and we'll change this to use the project variable for add. So now that's soft coded for both of these pages. That's much better than it was because now we've got a soft coded page, the actual variables. The definition of this is actually in the project variables. We can find it all in one place without having to hunt through the mapped objects. But we still have two different pages here and they have essentially the same thing. So what we want to do is actually combine these. So we can get rid of either one of these. I'm going to get rid of the add and we'll say yes, we're going to delete the mapped items and all the aliases. And we're going to edit this page so that if it's the add or the edit, it's still going to work. So I'm going to double click this again, and object type page is good, but somehow we have to get two different URLs, and we can't do that using the default settings. We need to go to the conditional mode, and that will allow us to have more than one set of criteria that identify the page. So we've got object type page, that part's good, and the URL equals conference edit. That in itself is okay, but we want to say or. Let me move this. Get rid of the object index. That's not helping us. I'm going to say or. So now we've got page and this URL or this URL. So from the select value column, we're going to use properties. We'll go down to the URL again and say that it should equal the project variable for add. So now if it's a page and it's either of these URLs, it should still recognize it. Save that off. I'm going to refresh the name mapping. Go over to the page for just a second and make sure that we've only got one page up here. We'll use the add conference for the moment. And we'll highlight. And it finds the page. That's the add. Let's go back to the browser and I'm going to navigate to one of the edit pages. This will be a couple of clicks to get there. And now we're at the edit page, so that's good. We'll come back here, refresh one more time, highlight, and it finds both pages. So that's the complete circuit here where we've soft coded parts of the path. We put those into project variables. We've referenced the project variables in the name mapping. And then we've also used the conditional mapping to make this much more flexible and allow more than one URL. So later I can go and map all the fields underneath it for both the edit and the add. I don't have to reproduce all that effort. Hope that was helpful. Thanks for watching.